regards the retrograding Saturn, we should take another one point into consideration. If this retrograde Saturn happens to be aspecting any planet in the natal chart, then that planet needs a certain amount of reconsideration and restructure or reformation also in life. These retrograde phases are given to us or are bestowed upon us because they are a blessing in disguise. They're bestowed upon us so that we can have a good view of ourselves and internal examination. This internal examination helps us to perform better. It is like a revision before the final exam. So, when we revise, we are on a better platform to give a good paper. One objective that we are placed on this earth is to let go of our debits and credits, to square them up so that we can move on to a higher plane of existence. In doing so, right at the journey, there are times that we need an introspection, we need an inward movement. So, this is a blessing. This inward movement helps us to retrace our steps, see where we have mistaken, where we can do better, and then move ahead. So, it is very imperative that we make good use of this retrograde phase and move ahead. For the Aquarius Lagna, this is a retrograding phase for the 12th Lord and the Lagna Lord in the 11th house. The 12th Lord relates to subconscious mind, it relates to the unconscious mind, it relates to meditation, it relates to spiritual retreats, it relates to habits of sleeping patterns, and the Lagna Lord represents the self in totality. The 11th house is a good house as far as incomes are concerned, visions are concerned, futuristic ability, and to make good of our gains and plans to have a continued and a sustainable income. It is also the house of contacts, it is also the house of wife and spouse, it is also the house of health. So, taking all of it in view, we need to understand that this Saturn is beckoning us to let go of the contacts that is not required and to regroup or to restructurize those contacts that we may require in future. It is also the time to understand what is a sustainable income for us, what is a constant income for us, because 11th house is a constant income, how we can manage that income and how we can generate new methods of it. And it is also the time to understand what is needed to bring about a difference in your marital life, to bring about a little bit of more spice, vigor in your marital life. It is also the time when you can let go of those sleeping patterns that are detrimental to your health. Time also to take stock of your own self. Your conscious, subconscious mind can now be manipulated, or rather can now be impressed upon to do good for you, and on the long run, you would benefit a lot. As the 12th Lord, this Saturn is beckoning you to move to a spiritual retreat at the cost of some income, probably, but which is necessary for your soul so that you can move on with a great deal more vigor when Saturn turns direct. Moving ahead with the Pisces Lagna. With the Pisces Lagna, the 11th and the 12th Lord is retrograde in the 10th house. So this calls for certain amount of restructurization in your business policies, in your workplace, so that you can lower your expenses and consequently can have a higher income. This is also the time when you need to reevaluate your decisions, your relationship with your boss and with your employees. It is also the time when you, if you're starting a plan B or if you're starting a new business, hold on to that, take a good look, create a plan B, and then when Saturn or Jupiter moves direct, it would be the right time to start the new business. At this moment, it is a hibernating state and best not to start anything new. The honors, the trophies, the gifts that you were planning or you were expecting to come your way from your profession are now in a hibernating state. So this is not the time probably where your wishes would materialize. Stay put, stay on your job, and they are sure to come your way post June. It is also the time when you would also feel the need that you need to cut off your working hours, give certain amount of time to your family, to your spouse, to your own self. The me factor here is beckoning you with all the force that it can to give it some time. it is very imperative that you take an inward journey about your own self. With Jupiter also being retrograde and Saturn also moving into that phase, best time for you to take into meditation because this is a very strong calling. This is also a time when things in your family might require your attention. There's certain regrouping that you would have to do as per your relationships with the family members in general and your contacts so that you can have a good expense. Try to create a balance. This balance is possible at this moment so that later on you are able to go ahead with a lot of strength. For the Aries Lagna, this Saturn is the Lord of the 10th and 11th, retrograding in the ninth house. The ninth house stands for traditions. The ninth house stands for higher learning, for father, for guru, preceptor, tradition in totality. One of the most traditional houses that belongs to the zodiac. The 10th house is the house of honor, prestige, power, and also the house of profession, employees and bosses too. The 11th house is the house of contacts, the house of stable income, steady income. It is also the house of friends and a futuristic vision. Keeping all that in mind, this planet retrograding in the ninth house beckons us to take a good look at the traditions that can help us move ahead in our lives as far as our profession and steady income are concerned. This part is also asking us to take stock of our relationships, legality of marriage, because ninth house is also legality of marriage. Connecting it with the 11th house of spouse, it asks us to take a good look at our relationship, especially with the spouse is concerned. This house is also a house where a person would be asked to take good stock of the religious activities that they do and to bring about a certain amount of reform in them so that they are much more fruitful and much more vigorous. The Lord of the 10th house being retrograde in the ninth house implores us to check on our viabilities as regards the profession. It tells us that there's certain advice that we can take from the elderly, from the learned, to help us augment our professional life better. Take a good look, have contacts re-established with those people who are elder to you and can help you. For the Taurus Lagna, the ninth and the 10th Lord as a Yoga Karaka goes retrograde in the 8th house. This is more to do in terms with psyche. A very strong psychic impressions must be created during this phase. So, this is now the time to think about your relationships with your boss. This is now the time to bring about a structural change in them. You might be expecting a lot in terms of your career and your boss, but since all is in a backward motion, you might feel a retrograde feeling as far as your career is concerned. You may feel that it is going two steps back. Take stock, stay put, and think as to how you can change all that because it's surely going to change when Saturn goes direct. Your relationship with your boss is also undergoing the same amount of change. Don't you worry. It is going to move back again into a forward direction. Give it some time, give it some thought on how and what you can do to bring about a positive change. As far as relationships are concerned, your marital life also needs a change. It also needs to bring about a huge amount of vitality in it. Give that a thought also because Saturn offers you a golden period to change and to restructure. With retrograding in the 8th house, the psyche is all open to a lot of positive influences as regards a major amount of change are concerned. Do that, go into meditation and see what you can offer to your own self as far as psyche is concerned because this in turn would lead to a more fruitful, much enriched life when Saturn turns direct. This is also the time when you can do a lot of research. This is a golden period for you to get onto the root of things and help them flower. The career options that you were looking for are sure to come ahead your way, and there are things that are falling into place. But hold on, wait, see the entire thing working out before you take a step forward. For the Gemini Lagna, it's the 8th and the ninth lord retrograding in the 7th house. So, All the religious practices are now demanding that you give them a direction, you give them a form, you give them a way where you can help yourself move on to a different plane, you can help yourself find a strong path in life. This is also the time when the research that you would be doing would again find a platform, a commercial platform at that. So be very, very specific about your research. I would be suggesting that if you can start something right from the 14th till the 18th, that is a time when it will help things cement into your life so that it can flower better when Saturn crosses over this 15th degree of its when on its way direct. This is also a time when you can do a lot of work traditionally. Those people, elderly people whom you have forgotten, need to be visited, their blessings taken, so that life becomes much more smoother for you than it previously was. Saturn is also beckoning you to change certain habits. With the eighth lord going retrograde in the seventh house, both Marka houses, it is imploring you to let go of those bad habits that you do not need in your life. Make good ones so that life becomes much more fruitful, much more enhanced. This is also a phase when your teacher, your guru, could be the one leading you ahead. So take blessings from them, take advice from them because it is very essential for you. The path that you want to take on is at the moment blurred. With the retrograde Saturn moving on to an internal path, it seems to be blurred. But taking one step at a time, reforming will help you go a long way. As the eighth lord retrograding in the seventh house, the best way to create good relationships with your spouse is to maintain or to re-enhance your relationships with your in-laws. This will give you a lot of peace in life and internally you will become a happier person. So much for the five lagnas. We will move on from Cancer to finally ending up at Scorpio in the next series. Do watch out for it and in the meantime, be happy, stay cool. Thank you.